Roush, that's Adam Luckett, and this is 11 Personnel presented by Monticello Bank, NBCBank.com.
Live on location. We get to sit next to each other today, Luckett, because we're at SEC Media Days here in Tampa, Florida. Luckett, the bay looks beautiful right here. You think we could own one of them boats one day?
It's JD Piquel's boat down there. I'm gonna go down there after, and we're gonna go on a little ride after we get done with this podcast.
Well, it's cruising for a bruising in the bay. Maybe go see old Tom's place. You think Tom Brady still has a place down here? He's got to.
That was like where he did the documentary with Woodson, right? That was at his house.
Well, he got drunk and he threw the trophy, the Super Bowl trophy.
So was that right here?
Yeah, and I think Antonio Brown lived with him at that house too. We could just hop on the boat, go to their
If those
house.
walls could talk.
Well, the walls here, they saw a lot today at SEC Media Days, and we're going to talk about it all. It was very unusual, Luckett, because we've done this many, many years. I think I can go back to 2016. I think it's a decade for me. You've been since 19?
I think this is my fifth one.
Fifth one?
Yeah.
Okay. Since you told Nick Saban what 11 personnel was.
Started with that, ended with Will Stein just going viral. Maybe I should just what's going to top that, right?
Well,
Nick's on Feinbaum. What are we doing? Just time to pack it up and go home. We've had a good run.
the thing is, it's like, we're going to get to all of it, but usually day one, a lot of, especially in recent years, Greg Sankey, what he says defines the talking points of the day. And then usually there's a coach or two that might say something big. Eli Drinkwitz saying that Ahmad Hardy medical cleared to return to football activities. Still maybe a month or two away. But that was big news. He's All-American. He got shot this offseason. They didn't know what his future would be like. So that's big news.
Bad man right there.
But from an actual fodder standpoint, what people what are baking the radio row. Look at Will Stein's generating a lot of them because Greg Sankey, he was a little wishy-washy today, right? He wasn't getting to the brass tacks, the hard numbers that you'll get at Monticello Bank. NBCBank.com, proud presenting sponsors of 11 Personnel, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Shout out Monticello Bank. He did a lot of dancing today.
I want to talk about Greg Sankey's State of the SEC address, but now it's not really the time for that. We're going to be here next couple days.
We got time to do all that stuff.
We're going to get into all that. Really, the big splash today was Will Stein.
Mm-hmm.
You always see, typically at this event, there's one or two coaches that give a big juicy quote, kind of goes viral a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Will give that quote to us today, really. And we've heard him, Nick, talk about what I would call just brash confidence.
Yeah.
I know I can win here. I'm cocky. I don't know if he's ever said I'm cocky, but he gives off that vibe. And he gives a part in his opening statement where he's like, I'm not here because, my dad's here and that's a cool story, but that's not why I'm coaching at Kentucky. So I'm just like, well, okay. So why are you here? Because, we've seen Kentucky coaching searches play out. Sometimes the top candidates are very interested. So why were you offensive coordinator at Oregon, considered probably a top 5 coordinator in the sport? Why were you interested in this job?
Well, and the best part was that he paused for a minute and he was thinking,
right. Am I really going to go there?
I thought for a second he was going to get emotional or something like that. I wasn't sure which direction he was going to go, and then he dropped the line because of me. And
it reminded me of everyone wants to play for Will Stein.
Yeah. Or, as many others have said, like our pal JD Piquel over here, Kurt Signetti's Google me. There's very much a, the wise man Jadakiss once said, I'm not cocky, I'm confident, so when you tell me I'm the best, it's a compliment. And that is kind of what you get with Stein is, there's a lot of coaches who will act like they're not on social media, or they will it's not about me, but they're all egomaniacs. But let's be real.
Right.
You have to be. You have to be wired differently to be an SEC football coach.
Right. He took off the mask when he answered the question, right?
And to his point that he said many times previously is Kentucky's been pretty good. We just got to score some more points. I'm the guy who can get it done. And that's essentially what he stripped it down is I'm a pretty damn good coach. We got some good players. I got to get some more good players, but I believe we can win here.
Yeah, and I think that has Kentucky ever had a football coach like that? Maybe Mummy?
Yeah, and Mummies was a little bit more like, I don't care, but I also am just
Like beach bum vibes.
yeah, like it was kind of hippie, you know, like who cares, you know, like it was almost like an irreverence for oneself. Whereas like Stein's got some. I mean, he's a training quarterback. Like, you know the type, right? He's got a little bit, and I think that should be the expectation.
No, you know the type. You're related to him.
Exactly. Like, I know exactly what they're like. So like that. But I also think this goes back to another quote that. I mean, Luckett was just on fire today. He gets all the credit for the main room one, but when we're speaking with him in the local media, you know, Stein joked that like talking season hasn't, like it's never really started for him. He's just been talking ever since he got the job.
Yeah, marketing. It was kind of how I phrased it.
Yeah, and you're like, why do you think that's important? It's like, well, because like we have to promote the program. We have to, like social media is what kids see, and we need people to see Kentucky football, and that is also just
Shared the method to the madness, right?
yeah. Like if you want to put Kentucky football out there, you got to go out there and you got to say some stuff like that. And you know what? It gets people paying attention. It gets all of the Twitter accounts, right? Like the college football playoff account was tweeting it. I mean, SEC now, you name it, everybody is clipping it. There's nothing happening right now. You got to generate some buzz, and the best time to do it is when you have 0 losses.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing that, like, if you're a national reporter, it's a thing you write columns on.
Yeah.
Right? You just got, it's the thing you're talking about today in the college football space is what Will Stein said. But to your point, Nick, I do think this is kind of the shot in the arm that I think Kentucky football as a program needed. Will Stein's still got to coach games. We got to see if the QB whisper stuff, if all that translate. We have to see if Jay Bateman, if really what happened at North Carolina was aberration.
Right.
Like, there's all this stuff we still have to see. But this program did need a bump in just marketing. Let's say it that way. It just needed it. The things were getting
Needed
stale.
some juice.
The fan base was restless. I mean, it's just a fact. And so we've done the complete 180 in this event in a year.
Well, and that's really what today is about. It is the dichotomy between what was and what is. A year ago, I tried to make like a playful little joke with the head coach, who's the winningest head coach in program history, and he was ready to rip my head off, right? Like
KSR just mixing it up in the big room every year.
he was ready to rip my face off, and he was combative with this previously. He didn't want to make any headlines. He wanted to go the exact opposite approach of what we have now. Schematically, stylistically, like from the top down. And I think really there is only one commonality, and that is the other part that it got kind of buried in the address. But I have no tolerance for being soft-minded.
Yeah.
Football is a tough game with tough individuals.
It was basically him saying, we're going to, like, obviously it's year one at Kentucky, there's going to be some adversity. We're not going to fold when adversity hits, which this program has done the last few years, right?
Yeah. And even when they were rocking and rolling, Peake showed us a video of all of Kentucky's close losses, and it's real sicko stuff that he did. Just like real perverted. Like, let me just give you all of the times that Kentucky just lost in the most miserable way possible. But like, even when the Cats were cooking, they should have lost that game at Missouri when they won 10. Right?
Yeah.
They did.
Something to be said for that, like finding ways to win.
Right, but they lost that at Tennessee to a bad Tennessee team in that 9-3 season. Pick six lost them to Tennessee in the other 9-3 season. The Lynn Bowden year, how many games were ifs and buts, candy and nuts, they go a different direction and you're winning 9 games again, right? Like there's been some of that. And like the last 2 times we saw this team on the field. 85-17, is that right?
A lot to a little.
Yeah, like we saw them crumple. And it's going to be hard, it's going to be tough. I think the other part too is not just a reminder that that's going to happen, that growing pains are a part of what happens when you're a first-year coach, but also a reminder that Will Stein, for as good as he is as an offense coordinator, like he was working with Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning, kind of crazy, you know? Like
Who did Dan Lanning work for?
Kirby Smart, kind of crazy. There's a lot of them out there. So, I was really I didn't know what to expect from today, Luckett.
Sure, it's first time we were walking in blind in a lot of ways.
And particularly, normally there are some burning questions that we have to ask because nothing's been answered for a few months. Whereas, Stein's talked so much, there's not something that's kind of left out for the imagination, right? He's kind of put it all out there. So I was like, what are we going to get from here? But in that ballroom, man, he commanded that stage. He delivered. He punched it hard. And then when he got his questions, he took swings. And, I mean, it really felt like Luckett. You were putting it on the tee, and he was Happy Gilmore just swinging away. That was so. Tip of the cap to you, sir. Well done.
I just try to learn from you. But, is Bama in your mentions yet?
No, I don't think they found it out yet.
Is South Carolina? You just gloss over the Beamer comments today.
Oh man, I really got a Beamer a couple times, and one of them was very intentional because when Will Stein talked about, he wants to promote the brand, I made the point that this is good and all, but if podcasts won games, and Shane Beamer would be a 5-time national champion. That kind of got glossed over. We were pulling granola out of a hat.
Eating Dr. Pepper dogs.
Yeah, I said if you got to have a high fiber diet around Shane Beamer when you're full of shit. So we threw a lot out there. But that's what we do. We come in to
something like that. I think overall, I do want to get back on this, and we can move on to some other stuff. This whole, really, I guess, day after Louisville game, right? I think it was announced changes are going to be made that Sunday.
Yes, Sunday evening.
This program has done a complete 180. And we've talked about this on the show. I mean in every single way. Just like Kenny Minchie was here.
Yeah.
Portal quarterback. That would never happen before. And then I asked Stein the question. He looks at me like I have 3 heads.
He's my quarterback.
Why wouldn't I bring him? And I'm just like, well, that's not how it worked around here for a decade plus. So everything they're doing is it's just different. We're going to see if it works. But a lot of the job, Nick, in this, it's an entertainment product, right?
Yeah.
You want to win games, but you want to be entertained too. Well, people are being entertained by him.
Yeah.
These first, it's been 7 months now? 7-8 months? So, he's checked every, Stein really.
Yeah.
If you were going to say, how do you ace an off season? I don't know how he could have done any better than what he's done to this point. And I think overall, again, that is the shot in the arm. That is the confidence boost that I think not only the program needed, the people within the program, but also the fan base. They needed that. Kentucky, it was tough these last 3 years. It was just tough to follow this team these last 3 years because you had a guy who led you to these highs, you felt good about it, and you felt like you were getting good players and you had chances and you just couldn't figure it out really the last 3 years. So now it's just a huge breath of fresh air for Kentucky football, and people are riding this high right now, and people are super excited, and the atmosphere of week 2 at Kroger Field is going to be electric because of it all. Stein did that. He did all of that. It's because of him.
And, I was trying to brainstorm some ways that, he could have done, but it really is difficult to try to find maybe he gets DeAndre Moore, right? Maybe he gets one more. But, he's pretty much done everything you can as far as building morale. And the other point I want to make too, you have to compare to what was, not to put down Stoops, because I think most Kentucky fans are very much fans of Mark Stoops generally, in general.
No one will remember the last 3 years.
Yeah. It stunk and we were ready for it to go, but he got out when he needed to get out.
Stein's actually helping him, and it may the short term maybe, but if they get on a run here, people will forget quicker.
Well, and they'll realize that he left it in good enough place 4 times to succeed.
Right.
But the other thing too that we have to remember, Luckett, and I thought you made a good point a second ago. Part of what made it so hard to follow is because the head coach was just talking about how hard everything was. And it made you feel very hopeless in a lot of ways. That I can't fundraise, there's all this money. You didn't know if Kentucky football had enough money to have a roster, the way he talked. Last year, of all the stuff that happened at last year's media days, this shit's hard is one that just completely gets overlooked.
Yeah.
That was he was the veteran in the SEC, and he was just like talking about how hard it was. Like, woe is me. And it's like, this guy's like, I am BBN. I'm so grateful to be here. You know, like, we needed to hear that collectively, and it does give you a lot more hope about what's to come in the future.
The whole collection of the organization, whether you are involved, like in the door, or whether you're a fan, or even for us, like Nick in media, there's juice now, and it's just easier for everyone to go and get excited about it and to spend your time investing in it, no matter what level of investment you're in.
Right. Whether it's commenting on the YouTube channel right now, if you got questions, fire away. Whether it's subscribing to
hardcore recruiting fan follower, no matter what level you are.
Season tickets, individuals, which the individual games are on sale right now. Yeah.
No matter what level you are, there's just a lot of excitement right now, and he has just aced all of this. And you have to see how the games play out, but he doesn't sound like someone that's going to fail. Let's just put it that way. That's what I would put. That's how I would phrase it.
Do you know what got us to a point where we couldn't fail Luckett? What got us here? Our friends at Friends of Cole. They're dedicated to informing and educating Kentucky citizens about the coal industry and its vital role in the state's future, not just the past. Like my grandmother, when she was back working at the clerk's office in Lynch, Kentucky, Friends of Coal, they want to remind you that it is resilient, it's reliable, and it is affordable. It's a volunteer organization. Everyone's invited. Go check them out today. Visit friendsofcoalkentucky.org to learn more. Friends of Coal, powering our coverage here at SEC Media Days in Tampa, where, before we get back to what the players said, we got to peel back the curtain a little bit. It looks really pretty down here, right? And it's kind of nice being in Florida, but the start of this event was a disaster. From like a behind-the-scenes standpoint, there was a dozen people in the media room, and we couldn't get on the internet. Like, the internet wasn't working. The power started going off on Radio Row. They had to shut down Feinbaum's show for 3 o'clock hour.
Yeah, not
It was not going well.
I'm sure someone was getting yelled at somewhere around here.
Things were not going very well, but I was a little worried too. The shirt I was going to wear today didn't have a button. It was like, oh god, this is a bad omen. Like if we're losing buttons, like what does this mean?
I packed the wrong pants.
Oh no.
I packed a pair of 3230s. Adam Luckett does not wear 3230s. I thought, one, they couldn't have gone around the waist, but if they could have, I would have just knee high.
3230s is like what I got in middle school.
Yeah. So that was a suboptimal start.
Yeah, not a big deal. Hey, we got a washer dryer at the KSR House Hotel.
We'll be fine.
We can throw them in there.
We'll be fine. We've got options. We'll be fine. But
we also got
not the best start. The internet.
Trying to find out where they were talking earlier. We were trying to go. We were trying to go meet the football team, and we just walked to the pool. Like there was a pool there. I mean, kind of nice.
Indoor? Was it indoor or outdoor?
It was on the rooftop.
That's right.
There was like kids.
It's fancy spot when they got the rooftop pool.
Rooftop pool, real fancy. I will say, look, of all the pluses from today, Feinbaum hit be damned. There's some real social anxiety when you interact with some of these people, right? Because not to say that they're all big wigs or what, but like you want to put off a good impression.
Well, there's some aspect where it's like it's like all the people in the chat room got together and see each other in person.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, this is I forget, these are real people. Yeah.
Well, I was a little worried because we go into the room and we get to talk to all the players, Kenny, Willie, and Ty. And it's basically like, all right, 10 minutes a piece is just basically one-on-one conversations, which we don't get often. And so when I saw Willie, I had to dap him up. But look, you know how a dap can be. It can. Do you handshake? Do you go in for the full dap? Do you do that?
Yeah. I just think. Once you get past a certain age, Nick, I just feel like you just got to go handshake first most of the time, unless you know.
See, I was really worried that I was going to be Steve Buscemi, how do you do, fellow kids? But I went in, and it was the cleanest dap. I mean, that thing, it was.
I was surprised. I followed you up. I was just like, I'm not even. handshaking it. Keep it simple.
We got clean daps. That was rewarding. Luckett, what was the most enlightening thing you heard from the 3 Kentucky Wildcats during our conversations today?
I would just say the offseason of DeMarcus Gardner just keeps rolling on.
Yeah.
Everyone you talk to has just been really impressed with that kid. Redshirt freshman. He's from down here, from Florida, Georgia. He's from Cedartown. He was committed to go to UCF.
Yes.
Flipped to Kentucky. They've been really impressed with him. And so he's going to be a guy that helps them on defense. Like, he's going to have a real role on this team.
And
I mean, Minchie talked about him. Stein talked about him. And then obviously we had to ask Ty Bryant about him, but it's everyone you talk to.
But the Minchie part was the one that stood out to me. Like, if he is singling out a corner, that means you know that guy's sticky. And that's a real concern, or the edges of the defense, right? Because you're going to be playing a more aggressive style. You need guys who can cover in man. And I know South End Josh and a lot of people out there are ready to see more man-to-man coverage, but do you have the players to do it? And there were times last year where I thought they had the guys to do it, but there wasn't, like, the depth and the like they could do it in small spurts, but they could get overexposed, right? So having this sort of DeMarcus Gardner glow up, I think it's, especially from a guy like, let's be real. We know this roster pretty well. Totally forgot that guy was on the roster. Just completely was like, oh, crap, I forgot about it. And now he is one of the more talked about guys. The other one, too.
But before I want to say one more thing, we move on. I'm getting on a soapbox here.
Oh, please.
This is why following recruiting is important.
Yeah.
It really is. Now, you can scoff at it and say, oh, portal, I don't care. Tell me when to sign. all of that. It's just important because this is a guy, Nick, at a position of concern entering football season. And if he ends up being a hit, it just changes things for them. All of a sudden, a position you're worried about on paper has a solution on the team, on the roster. That's why recruiting and developing.
It's the lifeblood.
It's your blood pressure as a program. High school recruiting specifically is your blood pressure. If you're doing things right and you have the right system and processes in place and you're developing players and you're having retention, you're keeping players in your organization, they should organically develop like DeMarcus Gardner is doing right now, and it raises your floor. Yeah. It's just really important. It just is. And that ends my TED Talk on high school recruiting and why you should follow it.
Well, another guy who's followed a similar path that Ty Bryant shouted out was your guy when we were talking about unexpected.
Well, Ty Bryant's another one you could go on. 2023 recruit, reclassifies.
Yeah.
To another, stays a year late. One of the lower ranked players on the team. Now he's the face. He's the face of Kentucky's defense.
He shouted out Grant Godfrey, a guy who had the blue chip ratings, but I think that's the point that I'm going to try to stress before the season starts is that during the portal season, everybody gets excited about the new guys, right? Like that's kind of how we operate.
Right, shiny new toys.
But I think of all of the parts about Will Stein's roster build, retention cannot be overstressed enough because you kept Willie Rodriguez, but a guy like Grant Godfrey, he was a 4-star player.
Yeah, we could go. I think defense specifically. There's some offense one, but defense specifically, I think they kept some. Because let's just be honest.
Mike Humphrey Grace.
The defense. Now, say what you want about scheme, that was in much better place from a recruiting and development point in the last half.
Yeah.
We don't have to go back through the offense,
so,
but we know the
defense
they were trending better year over year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so that is something in the next month just to remind people hey, it's not all the new guys. Although Minchie shouted out Shane Carr, right? Willie Rodriguez shouted out Kenny Darby, caught a touchdown in the spring game. This guy who's really improved this offseason. But the returning guys, I think, are important. And Michael Skinner, another guy who got a shout out. That was Big Vince guy.
Number one recruit in Kentucky's 2025 class. He is tantalizing because he's he's the tight end, I think. I think he's the tight end that Kentucky fans want, but sometimes don't realize that not every tight end is a loose mover that can run routes and snap off routes, which Willie can do some too, and I think you're going to see. But he is a different level athlete, I think, for that position, and he's got a chance, I think, to have a really big year for Kentucky.
Best dressed today, Luckett. Did you? Some people wanted. Stein had the paisley tie. They wanted a little more royal Kentucky blue.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
You're not a fashion guy?
No, he wouldn't believe
The
it.
golf shirt you got from your father-in-law?
I thought Ty Ashley had the best fit.
You like Ty? See, I like.
Or not Ty Ashley. That's the linebacker coming. Ty Bryant.
Yeah, Ty had the bow tie, which and it wasn't like a snap hook one. He had actually tie.
I just like the color of his jacket, and I thought
Gray. It was
yeah.
a good look. I really liked Willie's jacket. Like that blue jacket. That's one you can wear at Keeneland with like different pants. The biggest thing I noticed too, like they all had on the dress shirts that are like your traditional cotton, like make you sweat. They had on like
That doesn't feel like a tarp, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they had like the breathable dress shirts. I was like, damn, I need to get me one of those. So, if anybody out there wants to throw a shirt on,
They weren't the shirts Peak was wearing at Trinity High School in the mid-aughts.
A couple other things from today. I do like Kenny Minchie is like he's obviously the headline guy, but he's not a rah-rah guy. He's a little more on the quiet side. And when you ask him questions, he reminds me of, I can't think of a certain player, but some guys when you ask them questions, they just give you a direct answer. So it's not always the snappiest or the most floweriest things. So you aren't going to see a lot of Kenny Minchie quote cards necessarily. But I think the one aspect of Kenny Minchie that like Ty Bryant encapsulated it in his conversation, which if you haven't seen them all, they're all on the KSR YouTube channel. After you go watch La Familia beat Louisville for the 1,000th time, go watch that. It's like 10 minutes with each player. And Ty was talking about, his first interactions with Minchie, and it was Minchie's ability to ad-lib. And for as much as they have just harped on him being accurate and being cerebral and knowing the playbook and being ahead of the game, I think the one thing that we just kind of have glossed over is how he'll be able to use his legs to keep this offense ahead of the chains.
Yeah, I definitely think there's some athleticism and some play extension, off script, potential playmaking there. And we'll have to see. We saw some of that in the spring game. I thought, if you were there, there was some of that. They also got him in trouble a couple times in the spring game. Would have been big losses, but
right.
One of Stein's interesting quotes. He was talking, I believe, to Cole Kubelik, Jordan Rogers, Alyssa Lang on the SEC Network said, and was basically like, Kenny hasn't played a lot of football. You only get better at football by playing football. So we're going to have to create as many game-like situations in camp as possible for him to get him kind of up to speed. So I found that pretty interesting. And the other big bomb at quarterback, go ahead.
Have we heard that he signed a 2-year deal? Because that got mentioned as matter of fact and was said to Kenny, and he was like, I'm just thinking about Youngstown State, but yeah.
Well, I think it depends on who you talk to about that, because a lot of those deals are 2-year deals, but they're almost like player team options, like the NBA phrasing.
Yeah.
So I don't.
But that's something to just kind of put your pin in. Same thing with Ty Bryant, the 5-for-5 rule.
I think the plan with just timeout. Dante Moore, 1-year starter, didn't go to the NFL even though he was a top 5 pick. Why would he do that, Adam? Because there is studies done that say your percentage increases a lot. Will Levis even talked about this when he decided to come back.
It's the USC Mark Sanchez rule.
If
you don't start X amount of games, then you stink. Arch Manning's kind of following that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think a lot of people thought Ty Simpson might stay. Said he went, but typically you want to bank as many reps as possible, because if you just go by that historical data, you have a much better chance to succeed. So from that, it would make sense for, I think, Kenny Minchie. And we got a development this week. It's looking like where that backup quarterback battle
It's legit.
is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Pretty fascinated by it.
You brought in a Canadian last month that we had never heard of. He was the best quarterback in Canada's youth sports program. I didn't know about youth sports previously, but I found out about it when they lost in the conference championship game. He was the best quarterback in Canada. Cal Wither. He's joining Brennan Ward, Jakai Long, who is in position to be the starter at Marshall, and now Matt Ponitowski, who Stein essentially
Not over yet. Yeah.
Right. It's not over until it's over, but he's moved in and we're moving forward with it. Now, I don't really know what to make of Matt Ponatoski
Sure.
as a like I'm almost treating it like, you know, and people say I give basketball a hard time, but I'm kind of treating Matt Ponatoski as a foreign basketball player, where I'm like,
yeah.
my expectations are so low.
It's a wide range of outcomes.
Yeah, like I'm going to keep my expectations low, and if something great happens, then hot damn yippee. When Kentucky initially got him, I was singing a much different tune because Mark Stoops wasn't able to recruit quarterbacks like that. But now I'm like, you know, I don't know what the hell he's going to be. Like he might be better pitching with Grayson Willoughby on the weekends, right? Like I don't.
Well, and you also trust Stein, where if it doesn't work out with Ponatoski, Kentucky's probably going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean they got Jake Naharot, right? Like that guy's going to be pretty good too.
But I say this: I don't know how it's going to shake out. To your point, but I know if I'm on the roulette table, I like to have a few bets down, play with chips.
Yeah.
Play the odds. Like increase your odds when you can.
Yep.
And QB is a lot. It's playing the odds. Like
you got to be high volume.
It's a volume game.
Yeah.
So, the more numbers you're playing when that ball's on the wheel, the better your odds are you're going to hit on one, right? So that's how I look at it. It's like I think Ponatoski's a real deal quarterback prospect. Now I don't know, is he all the way in on it?
Yeah.
I don't know. But you've got, I think, 3 real prospects now with Minchie, Ponatoski, and then you've got Jake Naharot committed, and then Brennan Ward is a guy I think both staffs have liked. So we'll see how he kind of develops, but you just like how that build's coming together.
You know, one thing I would bet on too, if I got odds, that Kentucky will have a backup play at some point. Like, when was the last time a Kentucky quarterback started in every game? It's been twice since 2016.
This is a peak stat.
Yeah, right?
Sorry, looking at Michael F.
What
was the question?
Quarterback started the full season for Kentucky. It was Will Levis in 21. It was Devin Leary in 23.
Yes.
And I think that's it going back to Mike Hartline. I think that's how long it goes back to.
Well, he didn't.
Steven Johnson.
He didn't start the bowl game. So if you didn't count that,
Yeah, I mean, like it's been a very long time. So like you have to have just something to keep in mind. Now, I do think it's noteworthy that like a couple here's a little thing I learned today. They were doing the offensive line rankings. So like that was the first thing Kublik asked me about, which like Cole Kublik asking me about offensive line. I'm like, what are you doing, Cole? Like you're the offensive line guy. Something he said though in this radio hit was fascinating. Look at when I brought up DJ Miller, he said that when they would have their meetings with the staff, that he would say, "Hey, how come 7 isn't getting the ball more?" And like they didn't have an answer for that, which I'm like, well, that's probably why that those guys aren't here anymore, right?
Yeah, that goes back to my defense was in a much better spot than offense. It's just
I have to take a look.
We can just leave it at that.
Yeah. But I don't know where I was going with that. That was just something I heard in passing. There's like one other thing that I heard in passing too that I'm trying to like put my finger on. It was a good quote that it was when Stein was on with Kublik and he said, you can be normal and a football coach too, when he was talking about doing this.
Yeah, Hank Carter, that Lake Travis legendary high school coach in Austin, really got Stein has credited him for that, like figuring out the work-life balance. He also said he's the one who taught him how to, be an offensive coordinator and put plays together. So yeah, he was, he was maybe the coach he shouted out to most today was Hank Carter.
He opened his address, like the first words were, "My wife is pretty good at pickleball." It's just like, but he gave her.
Do you know what a duper is?
Okay, it's basically your handicap.
Jordan Rogers asked him that, and
what his duper is?
Stein gave Jordan Rogers the same look he gave me when I asked him about why he brought Kenny Minchie as his immediate days.
But what I've learned is that it's basically like your pickleball handicap. I've never played the game, but I learned that recently.
I didn't realize how big pickleball was until we went to Kansas City for the draft in 2023, and we were at a pickleball bar that was as big as this cove down here.
We need to go to Country Boys PKL and try.
Yeah, I've heard that is a good time.
Sounds like a peak video. Peak, why haven't you made us make that video yet?
Let's do it.
Wow, wait, do your job, brother. All right. Get your stuff together, Pete. Your damn classmate's the head coach of Kentucky, all right? Come on, get it together.
All right, before we get out of here, Pete, come here.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Peeker's coming in here. Here, why don't you?
What are we doing?
Okay. All right.
TBT preview, go.
It's a big game. I'm hoping that you can close it out today. I'm nervous. I know I got the countdown. What, like 20 minutes until La Familia takes on the Ville in Freedom Hall. You guys nervous as I am for this game?
Over under half Kentucky media members getting punched tonight.
Well, I think Louisville probably pulls it out tonight, so I think that all the Kentucky media members
Oh
are
no!
Oh wow, we're going to
No confidence.
third game. Wow.
You're right. If you're scared, go to church, right? Okay. All right. Kentucky's winning. La Familia's winning.
Stephen Peake came to SEC football media days to watch the World Cup final and to watch TBT. That's what he's here for.
Two biggest tournaments of the year.
The two biggest tournaments in July, TBT and the World Cup. All right, Pete. Like, let's take the jokes off for a second.
Okay.
All right. How crazy is it that the guy that you were making videos with in high school, you all are doing this now?
It's unbelievable. Like, just I hung back when we did our little media scrum with him, just to say something to him, and yeah, he's really cool. He said I saw some videos. He watches KSR YouTube, just so you know.
Yeah.
He might be tuned in right now. So what's up? Hey,
Subscribe.
what's up, Will? Yeah. So that was so cool. It's weird. I talked to my dad about this. Talking to my dad saying, you coached the Kentucky football coach in baseball. Like, how weird is this? This is so strange. It's so bizarre, and just seeing him up there on that stage, I was proud of him. It is so cool. And how about a St. X guy asking the Trinity guy the question that blows up all over social media? I mean, I just went and checked.
You just said the most Louisville thing ever right there. But that's exactly what they're saying in Louisville.
And here's one other thing, though. Like, is he the Will Stein you knew 15 years ago? I mean, obviously he's different because he's the head coach, and but he can't be that much different than what he was 15 years ago, right?
No, I mean, I think he has gained a lot more confidence in himself over the years. But I mean, he was the quarterback at Trinity. Like, you don't get that position by being scared, So I'll say this: like, when we played in our AAU games, I looked down the bench and be like, all right, Will's not going to let us lose. Like, he was one of those dudes. I think everybody who's played sports, you had that guy that's like, all right, this team we're playing is tough today. Oh, but Will, we got this guy. Like, they're not going to let us lose. And Will was definitely one of those dudes.
Oh man, we're getting the Will Stein baseball scouting report from Stephen Peake. You never know what to expect.
We talk about it all at SEC Media Days.
Exactly. So make sure you're subscribed to everything. We've got content coming out of our ears everywhere. And here's the best part: this is just day one, right? And that means we get to be a little bit sillier. We've got plenty of silly content out there just on day one, but we're also going to be talking to much more people on Radio Row, a who's who, a smorgasbord of people you see on TV, you hear on radio, you listen to their podcasts. We're going to be talking to them all. So make sure you're subscribed to it all. The updates, they're everywhere. The posts, they're everywhere. The tweets, everything. But we got to go watch TBT, or else Peake's not going to let us rest easy. So La Familia, give them hell. We appreciate you following us along. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on the KSR YouTube channel.